Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is part 2 of your April 2020 horoscope for Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising. So if you haven't already, go ahead and go back to part 1 where you can check out what the astrology has to say. So I went through all of the charts for Scorpio if you are interested. This is going to be looking at the cards. So this is using the Barbieri Zodiac Oracle deck, the Black Moon Astrology deck, playing cards, and the Connolly Tarot deck. So if you enjoy this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. So let's go ahead and get into this. Starting off here, for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, we have the Knight of Wands. And so this is definitely a time to be passionate, a time to be creative, to start manifesting and believing and going after the things in your life that you want. And we talked a lot about this feeling of a block in terms of your routine, your daily life, the things that you need to get done. Again, if you'd like to know more about that, then go ahead over to part 1 where I went through all of the astrology. But with this, it is time to start believing. It's time to start being more passionate and going for those things that are important, that need to be done within your family life, within your daily life. We do have the Judgment card here. So once again, going along with that Knight of Wands, this is really a moment for you to make this choice, this ultimate decision to go ahead and move forward in your life. Right, and we talked about that North Node that is sitting in your 9th house. Again, if you'd like to know more about that, go ahead and head over to the first part of this video where I broke down the astrology for your horoscope of April 2020. But with this is really your last moment to make this divine choice in your life. This is your last moment to step up and to really make sure that these belief systems are serving and supporting you to the highest level in your life. So last calling, last chance, last opportunity here with the Judgment card. This is a sense of urgency to make an ultimate choice and decision about you and your life. We also have the Knight of Swords here, where this is also a moment of challenge and adversity as you are needing to make this grand decision in your life and needing to take that opportunity, that last decision, that sense of urgency. Remember that we talked in the astrology in the first part about how this is feeling like a block or an insecurity or a fear in this area of these major things that need to get done in your life. And so this is time for you to be a little bit of a warrior and really push through the challenge and the difficulty. Really start to face what it is that is blocking you, that is in your way. So the Knight of Swords here, a little bit of a warrior moment, needing to go and needing to face those fears, those obstacles, those difficulties in your life. Push through this moment. And there is something big here that, again, is about your home life and your family life, that as you're pushing through these difficulties and challenges, in your life, Scorpio, that this is a big moment of celebrating and gathering and coming together with the people closest to you. Here with this Three of Cups moment, this is a time to celebrate with family, to celebrate with your friends, the people closest to you. And so, even though we are going through this very challenging moment, many of us throughout the world are on lockdown at the moment in our homes, that it is still a time to be social. It's still a time to connect to family, to show that you are there, to show up, and to care for those closest to you. Remember that we talked about in the astrology how there are going to be changes in your public life. And so what you really want to focus on are those connections that are closest to you. And again, it is a big moment of releasing and letting go of fear, right? Removing the blocks, removing the challenges, the difficulties. Many of you in a very difficult spot right now, as we're seeing this materialism card, which, by the way, is the devil card in the traditional Rider Tarot deck. So this is holding on to in negativity, holding on to toxicity in your life, holding on to something that doesn't serve you, right? And so with this, it really can feel like you are in chains, like you are really having difficulty pushing through these blocks, these challenges, these obstacles, as there is something major here that needs to be faced, that needs to be worked through and released here for you, Scorpio. So major moment of letting go. And speaking of letting go, we do have the King of Cups here, where it is a big time of really mastering your feelings, mastering your intuition, and allowing things to flow in your life. This King of Cups card is really a big card of self-mastery in terms of your feelings, your senses. And so as this comes up, there is this big moment of releasing and letting go of negative feelings, of feelings that are holding you back at the moment. And so there is a lot here that needs to flow, that needs to be felt, that needs to be faced and dealt with and released. So this is a process that many of you with Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising, right, especially with Scorpio Rising, we talked big time about this in the first part of this horoscope, that it really is a time of letting go of negative belief systems, negative feelings, negative thoughts, so that you can push through the challenges and the difficulties. And there is going to be a major moment. Again, if you want to take a look at that first part, there is a major planetary shift that we spoke about that actually brings a lot of clarity to the surface about how you are going to get through these blocks and obstacles. But just keep that in mind, because many of you at this moment are refusing. With the Four of Cups here, there is something big here about refusing or not being aware or not wanting to deal and face with this obstacle, this challenge, this difficulty that many of you are going through. And so with the Four of Cups here, keep in mind that the more that you ignore this, the more that this lesson will continue to repeat in your life. The more that this difficulty and this story will continue for you. Right, and if you want to know more about that block, again, feel free to watch the first part of this. But coming back to this, there is this major moment of refusal, of not wanting to face this, not wanting to go through this, and really not seeing things as they are. With the Eight of Pentacles here, really there is a lot of practical matters that need to be faced and tended to. Again, we talked about your sixth house heavily, that there is a lot that needs to be worked through, that needs to be worked on. And specifically, because your eighth house is a part of this, that there's a lot on a very deep level that needs to be addressed and sorted out here. And so there is almost this feeling with the Eight of Pentacles that for many of you, you have started the work but have not completed it fully. And so we're a little bit at this place of being stuck in between, feeling like you've reached a plateau or a block of some kind where you cannot finish or complete this process that you have started, Scorpio. So there's a lot of internal work that really needs to be done here. And corresponding with that, we do have the Moon card in reverse. This is bringing up a lot of fear, a lot of distress, a lot of worry, a lot of doubt, a lot of negative feelings that are coming up. And there is something big here about really needing to not react at this moment, but to go deep within and to do the work on yourself, right? This is a moment of looking within yourself and looking at these feelings and addressing it and allowing it to flow through you. Allow yourself to release these things in a way that does serve you, in a way that does benefit you. And so at this moment with the Moon card in reverse, this is not asking you to react to these negative feelings. This is asking you to go in and take a look and do the work that is necessary here. So there's a lot, again, we talked about your eighth house in the first part. There's a lot of deep feeling, a lot of deep passion, deep fear, deep insecurities, a lot of things very much deep beneath the surface that need to be worked on and addressed. Ten of Swords is here. And so really, once again, we're talking about releasing and letting go. And so for many of you, it is a time of needing to relax, needing to meditate, needing to take that deep breath to clear your mind, to really release these negative thoughts and beliefs that are not serving you in your life. And so with this Ten of Swords, this is a major release moment. This is a major moment of finding that peace within yourself, where you're letting go of the stress, the worry, the fears, right? Many people in pain, which is something that we'll talk a little bit more in the next card that comes up. But there is something big here about letting go of the negativity, letting go of the negative situations, and really stepping into a space that is truly beneficial and truly serves you on your path. And so again, there's a lot of deeper healing, a lot of deeper wounds to work through. And for many of you, your family is ultimately going to be a big part of this journey that you will go through. Make sure that for many of you that you are connecting to those closest to you, right? Whether you are at home with family or connecting over social media or a phone call, however this takes place for those of you with a Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising. But there is something big about connecting to the people closest to you, because there is a lot of change and a lot of unexpected events happening as far as the people that you publicly associate with. And so really coming back to this place of your more private, more intimate connections, this is really what you want to focus on at this moment. And again, we talked about Scorpio and these deeper fears, these deeper traumas, these deeper insecurities to work through. With the Three of Swords here, there is something big to say about how this does feel like you're in a moment of heartbreak or in a moment of pain, of struggle, of difficulty. And so with this, you want to keep in mind, and I love the image on this card, you can see that there are three swords that are kind of going through this dark cloud here, right? This dark storm cloud that really makes it feel like, and you can also see below that there is this castle where there's really this feeling of seclusion and being trapped in here, right? So really being trapped within the pain, the fear, the difficulty. But you can also see the sword in the middle is rising out of that darker cloud, and there is a rose there. And it is a white rose, which is related very much to death. But there is something big here that as you're going through the death, the pain, the struggle, that you can actually rise out of it. You can rise above it. And very much corresponding with your sign, Scorpio, which has very much to do with transformation and has various different archetypes, right? The last major archetype being the Phoenix, as it is correlating to the transition from Scorpio to Sagittarius, rising out of the ashes, rising out of that darkness into the light. And so there is something big to say here about how this moment and this time that you are going through now, dealing with the blocks and the struggles and the difficulties, that you can rise above it, that you can do the inner work and release and let go. And this experience really shapes and molds you and helps you transform into a better version of you. So very, very deep for you, Scorpio, this April 2020 experience that you are going through. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles, and very much about nurturing yourself, right? And we talked a lot about nurturing yourself in that first part when we went over the astrology, right? A lot of this North Node in Cancer, 9th house activity going on, right? Coming up to that last moment before the North Node actually shifts into Gemini in May. So, with the Queen of Pentacles here, there is something big to say about how if you are not nurturing your beliefs, if you are not nurturing your thoughts, if you're not nurturing your experiences, then this can very much manifest into experiencing something that does not serve and nurture and benefit you. And so with that Cancer North Node at its last degrees before it finally shifts into Gemini, there's this urgency to make sure that you are learning the lesson that North Node in Cancer is here to give you, which is all about nurturing your belief systems, your thoughts, your feelings, making sure that you are doing what is serving your highest, greatest good. And so keep that in mind, that you and your personal growth is based upon how much you are willing to nurture your philosophy, your belief system, your truth, your knowledge, your thoughts. And so this is very much coming from within, the things that you are manifesting and bringing into your existence. And so separating yourself from the external experience, Scorpio, let's take a look at your internal experience and see if it is truly something that is positive, that is beneficial to your life, that will help you grow along this journey. And it is leading up to a journey. We have the Fool card at the end of this, which the Fool card is actually the first card in the deck. The Fool card is that starting point for the entire journey. And so the Fool card, the Fool actually leads the way. And so there is something big here about you just letting go of all of this old, outdated mindsets, belief systems, fears, insecurities, hardships, struggles, and take your chance on starting this brand new journey for yourself. There's also something big to say, though, about the Fool, where the Fool doesn't really know where he's going, right? The Fool is letting his intuition kind of just take him wherever the wind goes. And so there is something big to say about the Fool card, that is letting go and just allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to take the chance, to take the opportunity. And this is big for you, Scorpio, as it can feel scary coming out of this space and just letting go and just going with that journey, going with the flow, letting your intuition guide you in this unknown direction. But this is a big part of how you will move on from this struggle, from this pain, from this difficulty of your past, of your experiences. So let's take a look at the Barbieri Zodiac Oracle deck. And something interesting that I did see is that for both the Barbieri Zodiac Oracle deck and the Black Moon Astrology deck, Mars was the first card that came out, both in a reversed position, right? And Mars is the co-ruler of Scorpio. And so with Mars being your natural ruler, there is something big to say about how you are very instinctive, very much about taking calculated moves and action to move forward. But there is something big about how your planet is in reverse at this moment. And so again, there is this feeling of a block, and there is going to be a Mars retrograde in September. So that's something that we will talk about a little bit later and how that will affect you, Scorpio, because this is a big part of this. But with this Mars energy in reverse, there is this feeling of a block, of not being able to get things done, not being able to move forward, right? This lack of action, this lack of drive, of energy, of motivation. And so for some of you, you are stuck in this space of not knowing how to move forward, not knowing how to act. And even for some of you, again, going back to that Four of Cups energy, some of you just are not willing to move forward on your journey. And so again, if we go back to that Fool card, there is something big to say here about how this is asking you to take the chance, even though it may feel uncomfortable, even though you might not feel like you have all of the energy or the drive to get there. There's something big as you're stepping into this, that if you just take the chance, if you just go for it, if you just step into it, then you have already taken that first step, which is the most challenging step. And then all of the easier steps after that come naturally. And so it really is asking you to turn this Mars energy around and go ahead, take the lead, take action, move forward, go for what you want, right? Let's go ahead and remove this block. Because it is an illusion, right? Neptune and Pisces together here. And we talked about Neptune and Pisces for you. Scorpio, we talked about this earlier, right? Where that Neptune energy is hanging out in your 5th house for many of you, where there's a little bit of an illusion that you don't have the energy, you don't have the passion, the excitement, you're not full of enough creative ideas, you don't have enough to get done what is on your heart, what you want to create, what you want to express. And so there's a little bit of an illusion here. Remember that Neptune is the planet of illusions, and it is at home in its sign of Pisces, which is very much an illusion, as well as Pisces is very much the dream weaver, which for you, you can choose to weave a dream that is positive and uplifting, or you can choose to weave a dream that is negative, that is detrimental to what you want to get done and achieve. And so there's this illusion of fear that is here in terms of what you can create and what you can experience and express at this moment. This feeling of there being a block that really isn't there, right? And that is why Mars is sitting in reverse here, letting you know that once you take that first step, you're already there, right? The first step for you is the most difficult step, as it is preventing you from moving forward out of this struggle, out of this difficulty. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done here. And Neptune is also this planet connected to karma and past experiences, right? A lot of times we associate the planet Saturn with karma, but Neptune is very much karmic as well. as Saturn is more connected to the lessons that are being taught to you. And Neptune is karmic in the sense that it is these emotional, subconscious, unconscious patterns that are being repeated, right? Your past experiences, your past trauma. And so there is something big to say here, that it's time for you to let go of the past so that you can weave the dream, so that you can believe and create something beautiful in your life that you feel blocked from, that you feel like you can't take on. We have Earth here, where it's time to take practical action. It's time to think of the steps that you need to take to move forward. And we talked about that in one of the major planetary shifts as well, that it's time to start planning things out. And again, if you want to go back to that first video to hear a little bit more about that, feel free. And I will leave a link below once this is uploaded as well, so that you can go ahead and check out that first part. But with Earth here, there is a need to ground yourself. There's a need to be stable. There's a need to take your time and plan things out, to figure out what are the steps that I need to move forward. And so it's time to slow down. Right? For many of you, it's time to journal. It's time to meditate. Again, time to connect to family. It is time to do something that helps you work through these challenges and difficulties that you are going through in your life. So time to slow it down. Right? Too much thinking and diving into fear and worry and anxiety and doubt and past traumas and experiences for many of you. So almost like a Mercury retrograde period for many of you with Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising, that it's time to slow down and review things and go in and take a look at what needs to be changed, what needs to be worked on and improved in your life so that you can move forward. Venus, time to love yourself, time to take some care and some nurturing. And we saw that Queen of Pentacles card earlier, right? Where it's time for you to nurture your belief systems. It's time for you to nurture the way that you think, the way that you feel, so that you can create this life that is truly beneficial and nurturing to you. Lastly, here we have your own card. And again, we talked about this earlier, that Scorpio is very much this sign of transformation, of the phoenix rising from the ashes. And so this is a little bit of a Scorpio moment for many of you who have this Scorpio energy, right? This is a moment of going through the darkness, going through the fear, going through the pain, going through the intensity, and facing it, addressing it, working through it, releasing it so that you can rise into the light, so that you can experience the goodness and the positivity that is on the other side of this. And so many of you are going through this very intense transformation process, but remember, with Mars in reverse, right? Remember with that block, that Three of Swords feeling, that the first step is what it takes for you to get through this transformation process. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Black Moon Astrology deck. Again, Mars Force. Okay, so we talked about this before this card came up in the previous deck. And with this, again, it feels like you don't have the energy, right? When we talk about Mars Force, we're talking about the passion, the drive, the energy, the intensity to push forward to get things done, right? This very masculine energy of purpose and drive. And with Mars in reverse here, it's very much feeling like you don't have this energy, this passion to get things done, right? There is this block going on. And again, Scorpio, keep an eye out for that Mars retrograde video for when Mars goes retrograde in September. That will help many of you on your journey. So with this, there is this feeling of a block. There's this feeling of a lack of motivation, right? This inability to work through the things that need to get done here. And this goes along with fire, right? Scorpio is very much the feminine water nature of Mars. Aries, masculine fire nature of Mars. And so Mars is definitely a very fiery planet, very passionate, very driven, full of desire, full of this drive to complete a mission, to serve a purpose. And so with this, for many of you, there's this feeling of this lack of desire, this lack of energy, this lack of determination, of motivation, right, to do what is needed here, to get through this transformation process, right? Some of you, even in this space of depression, of closing yourself off from others, of just completely stopping in your tracks, stopping what you are doing that needs to be completed. And so it is time for you to turn this energy around. It's time for you to start putting that energy and that active drive and passion into getting through this moment, right? We don't want to keep sitting in this space of negativity, right? And for some of you, anger, for some of you, frustration, for some of you, sadness, depression, with this fire energy in reverse. So there's a lot to work through here for those of you who have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We have Libra, eye balance, in reverse. So with this, yes, it does feel like your life is out of harmony, out of alignment. Like it's not the way that you would like it to be. And this is for you to come to a space of true peace and harmony within yourself, okay? So for many of you who have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, you can't change or control any external factors in your life. This is about you changing yourself, changing your perspective, changing your belief systems, right? Going within and finding that peace and balance within yourself as you're in this space of not being able to change the factors that are going on around you, but you can change this on the inside. So really, again, we want to go back to, for many of you, this being a time of connecting to family, a time of meditating, a time of journaling, right? Coming back to this space of peace and harmony in your heart. And the reason for this is because you can take this energy and help transform others around you, right? So if you are not in true alignment and peace and harmony within yourself, how can you share this with others around you? And that is where the next card comes in. We have Aquarius, I know. So it's time for you to share what you've experienced, what you know, what you've learned in your life that helps lift up others in their life. It is time for you to share positivity. It's time for you to share your thoughts that can help motivate and change the lives of others around you. And so with this, there's a huge calling to make these changes within yourself so that you can assist in humanity. As you could see even without the astrology, that this is a major shift in humanity that we are embarking on, that is very much this Saturn and Aquarius energy. And so with this, Scorpio, you have a huge call to use your healing and transformation abilities to affect others in the world. And we talked about how your public life can change big time. This is where, as you do the work on yourself in your personal life, yes, it does affect, it does change your public life, right? So this is not necessarily a change in a negative way, but you can influence change in your public life. And for many of you, as you raise your vibration, as you step into the light, step into your positivity, get through these challenges and these obstacles, it does remove people who are not serving and benefiting you in your public life. And so again, major changes that are happening here in this public life for many of you. Next card is Pisces, I believe. So once again, you cannot do this unless you believe, unless you have the faith, unless you are coming from a positive space that fully benefits and serves you, right? Unless those belief systems are truly nurturing and fulfilling to you in your life. And so again, we talked a lot about that with your North Node, with the North Node in Cancer being in your 8th house, that this is very much about your belief systems, and there is a major urgency to change those belief systems for the sake of your purpose in changing and affecting those around you. It's a beautiful reading here for those of you with Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising. Right, I broke this up into 2 parts because there was a lot to say. There was a lot that Spirit had to bring through for those of you with Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising. So again, thank you so much for your patience. Thanks to everyone, if you are still watching this, for continuing to watch through. We have Jupiter here, which is the ruler of Pisces, also the ruler of Sagittarius. This big, giant, optimistic planet of luck and fortune and belief systems, of spirituality and higher knowledge. Right? Jupiter's purpose is to expand. As you can see, the word that was used here is abundance, right? So Jupiter is here to expand. It is here to bring gains and good luck and fortune. And especially for you, Scorpio, this Jupiter energy comes in as a believing energy, right? This is an energy of needing to believe in this calling for you, right? We talked about that Fool card where your intuition is guiding you in the direction where you can teach and help and guide and lift up others by spreading your positivity, by spreading your belief, your thoughts to others. And so you, during this time, are meant to expand the minds of others to help them during this difficult time. Neptune, sacrifice, right? We talked about how Neptune is this planet of dreams, of illusions, of imagination. It's also a major planet of sacrifice, of releasing, letting go, right? Neptune breaks the physical boundaries to help us connect to a higher calling, to help us connect to something spiritual, something that goes beyond this physical existence. And so for many of you, this is a calling for you to let go of the pain, the fear, the suffering, right? This darker moment that you were going through, so that you can serve a higher calling, so that you are doing the work of God or the universe, or however you refer to this higher power. It's a big mission and calling for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I'm going to go ahead and go through the playing cards as for our last messages here. There's a lot, so again, thank you so much for being patient and sticking around. This is the 10 of Spades. And so there's a call to let go of your old way of thinking, old belief systems, right? This 10 being the number of completion. So 10 helps us end a cycle and begin a new one. Spades dealing with your thoughts, your communication, your belief systems. There is something major here that needs to change, that needs to be readdressed here in terms of your way of thinking and believing. We have the King of Clubs. And so it's time for you to master your belief systems. It's time for you to master that passion, that drive, to find that authority, to pick yourself back up, to be motivated to get the things done in your life that need to get done. For many of you, on a deeper emotional level, facing this deeper part of yourself and working through it. For some of you, even doing that work that you haven't completed in your day-to-day life because you felt like there was a block emotionally, because you felt down, right? Time to pick yourself back up and move forward. We also have the 2 of Spades here. The 2 being this number of faith, right? It's time to have faith and believe in yourself and where you are in your life, and to come out of this space of this lower energy, right? This is a very deep time. Scorpio is a very deep sign. So for those of you with Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising, you are probably feeling the pain of humanity. You're probably feeling the pain within your own life. Right? Time to let go of that. Time to move on from that. Time to nurture your thoughts, nurture your feelings. And we do have the Six of Hearts here, where these two energies very much go together. The 2 and the 6, very much related to nurturing. Where the 6 is a number of peace and harmony, where it is time to bring back, remember we had Libra in reverse, time to bring back that peace, that balance within your own heart. So we're seeing the synchronicities here of this 6 of Hearts, bringing that peace and harmony back into your heart. Very much related to that Libra card. Ace of Diamonds, so that you can start anew. A new path, right? We talked about that Fool card, where this is a new journey, a new experience that you are being called towards. A new way of being, a new system, new steps and plans for the future, new structure, new security. And this is directly followed by the 10, which is completion, right? So in order to step into that new space, you have to let go of the old. Let go of the old foundation, the old structure, the old belief system, the old value that no longer serves you. And Joker, take a chance. Have faith. Move along on that journey. Trust in your intuition, right? Very much corresponding with that Fool card. Ten of Hearts, again, this completion energy of letting go of old, for some of you, old relationships, old emotions, old connections, right? There's a lot of old feelings and attachments that need to be released and let go of. A lot of these old negative feelings, and we talked a lot about that with your 8th house of Venus moving in there in the North Node, right? A lot of deeper feelings that need to be released. And so there's a lot of reviewing and reassessing in that 8th house that's going to take place. That 8th house of your deeper feelings, your passion, your drive, your intimate connections, your private life. As Venus goes retrograde next month. And there will be a future video up on Venus retrograde, so keep an eye out for that as well. Ace of Spades. Again, a lot of this ace energy of starting anew, new beginnings. It's time to think in a new way. It's time to communicate in a new way. It's time to think and communicate positively in a way that lifts others up. Remember that Neptune, that Jupiter, right? Time to help others around you, big time. So that was your tarot horoscope for April 2020. Again, there is a part 1 to this where I go over all of the astrology for those of you with Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So I will leave a link for that in the comments as well as the description once this video has uploaded. So again, keep an eye out for that. Make sure that you go ahead and look at that part 1 so that you can understand how all of the astrology plays in and affects you for the month of April. Thanks so much for watching. I know this was a longer video and there's another part to this. So this whole horoscope for you, Scorpio, is over an hour. Right. So this is a huge message for many of you who have this Scorpio energy. So again, I want to thank you for sticking around and watching the entire video. If you like this, once again, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. Feel free to join the group, Astro Metaphysical Love and Light, to share positive messages, motivational advice, psychic readings, spiritual wisdom, right? Any kind of love and positivity that you'd like to share, feel free to join the group. If you'd like to know more about astrology, feel free to join the group Astrology Lessons with Daquan Jones to learn astrology with me. Thanks again for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.